Look who tuned in. Hello, gorgeous. Welcome and welcome back to another episode of Soft Start. I'm Lateefah and I'm your host. So much for tuning in again this week. How was your week? How was your weekend? How has your week been coming along? And what are your plans for this holiday period? Are you spending it with family? Are you spending it with a loved one? Are you spending it with friends or a friend? Because I think that's what makes this holiday period special. It's because people take out time, they try to be intentional about spending it with someone that is special. Okay, so irrespective of the year that you've had or the year you're having, because the year is not over yet, you're able to just come together, be intentional about coming together at the end of the year to celebrate it with someone you love. And there's this general feeling of gratitude. There's this general feeling of love in the air, which is why, trust Netflix, we have a lot of holiday Christmas movies, the Hallmark movies. I've been enjoying them. I just always tune in. I was talking to a friend about it and she was like, yep, she's been binge watching these movies nonstop. And I'm like, well, I haven't been binge watching, but yeah, they've been top of my list because yes, why not? I want to feel the nostalgia. I want to be deceived. Okay. I want to feel the love. I want to feel, the specialness of the season, right? And these movies contribute a lot to that. They just add to the nostalgia. They remind you of the holiday feeling, the holiday spirit, and you just start to feel, yeah, this is the season. You know what I mean? So yes, I've really been enjoying those, and I like when a lot of them starts coming out during this period. Okay, so this week we're going to be talking about friendships because friendships are essential. They're very vital for your happiness, for your health, your physical and mental health. Yes, they're very important for emotional support, companionship. Human beings crave companionship, and a lot of that comes from the genuine friendships that we build with people, that we have with people, right? People, there's this longing for a deep connection, romantic or not, for a deep connection with someone. And friendships contribute the most to this feeling of, oh yes, I have this, I belong, I have a companion, I have a friend, I have someone that I can rely on, I have someone I can talk to, right? And that is also important when you're trying to build yourself. The quality of friendships that you have around you are very essential to, I don't want to say to how far you go in life, because I do have quality friends, thank God, but I haven't reached where I want to reach in life yet. Okay, so I can't tell you, for a fact, this is the reason why I reach, but friendships definitely contribute in terms of motivation, in terms of encouragement. Okay, friendships are very important. So yes, it is very important that you consider carefully the kind of people that you surround yourself with, right? And which is why a lot of times you hear people say, oh, they have a friend for a particular reason. Or some people say, this friend is my party friend. This friend is my motivational friend. This is my work friend. This is someone that I can always count on to tell me the truth in this situation. This is someone that I can always count on to talk to me, in this certain way. This is the person I go to if I need motivation to work out. Okay, this is my workout friend, my gym friend. So yes, people say they have friends for different purposes, okay? And that is fair as long as the friendship is mutual. Like the other person understands that, oh, this is why you guys are friends, and she's also on the same page, or he is also on the same page, okay? But in this particular video, we're also going to be focusing on female friendships because there seems to be a lot of conversation around female friendships in general. I know there's this popular discourse why girls seem to give men more grace, compared to their female friends. And honestly, I don't really have a lot of thoughts about this because it's not something I've personally experienced. I wouldn't say my friends give me as much grace, if not more grace. My friends take my opinion seriously. Okay, so if I give my opinion about a certain relationship, doesn't mean they're going to go and break up with the boy. No, but they actually do regard my words and they remember it. I wouldn't say they heed because, but yes, even me as a person, if someone should tell me, if my friend should give me advice about a certain person, a certain man, I definitely take it seriously because I value that friendship and I know exactly why we're friends. So this is not something I can relate to. I mean, yeah, it's not something I can relate to be honest, because I haven't had a situation where a friend chose a man over me, or I haven't seen that happen around my circle of friends. I have heard about it. I have heard, especially in uni when everyone is closely knit together, you've definitely heard, oh, that girl, she did that. She chose her man over her bestie. We've heard stories like that, but it's just a story. Okay. I haven't heard from both parties. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was worth it. It's easy to judge when you're not the person going through that particular situation. But yes, by no friends in general, friends, the connection you have with your friends is, for me, it's deep and it's intimate. It's not something that people take lightly. But when it comes to choosing a friend over a man, I think the only thing I can say there is I wouldn't say choosing a friend over a man. I would only speak on the feeling of betrayal. I don't know if any of you have ever been betrayed by a friend, but being betrayed by a friend is one of the hardest things to experience. Okay, it's people say it's worse than a heartbreak, and I mean, I have to agree, it's their experience. But being betrayed by a friend or experiencing a friendship breakup, it really is one of the most difficult things that you have to experience as a person. It's not something that, you have to experience it to understand how truly devastating it can be. Honestly, yeah, it really is. It hurts. It really does hurt, to be honest, because there's just this huge, I think we hold our friends at just hold them to a higher pedestal than we all hold men. And generally the basis of a good friendship is based on, okay, you guys trust each other, you guys are very much alike. And, there's just this sense of, there's almost a sacredness when it comes to friendship, right? When it comes to true friendship, I'm not even talking about particular friendships like, gym friend, party friend. When you have a wholesome friend, a whole friend, someone that you can always talk to, someone that you can trust, someone you depend on, okay, and someone yes, that really is it. So when that sacredness is broken, yeah, it's I understand why that can be hard to move on from, because then it's like, well, what really is the essence of this friendship? Like, why are you my friend? Why are you my friend if you're doing this behind my back? Why are you my friend if you can lie to me straight up to my face, especially in regards to some certain, matters or situations? Why are you my friend if, I can't hold you accountable for certain things, or you can't hold me accountable for certain things? Why are you my friend if you're only, if you're still friends with people that say this and that about me? Why are you my friend if, so there's so many things to consider, and it really can be heartbreaking, because then that mutualness doesn't exist anymore. That sacredness doesn't exist anymore. So it's like, what's the basis? What really is the basis of this friendship? The foundation on which the friendship was built has been broken, and then it leaves room for the doubts. Then you're like, I think she's just jealous, okay? Or I think she's just trying to be like me. She's trying to monitor me. We hear that a lot, and I truly understand, because I have been around some people, and at a point, you also start to question the person's true intentions, because it's like, wait, I think this person is only close to me for this certain reason, right? Because it doesn't make sense why she's close to me otherwise, because maybe in your head, you had the friendship was mutual for a different reason. I don't know if that makes sense. And you come to find out she doesn't feel the same way, or that facade is lifted, that veil is gone, and you realize, oh, she's operating on a completely different dynamic. So, you're confused. You're like, okay, this is not the person I thought she was, right? And me personally, my parents this is something I used to hear a lot, especially growing up, because I'm someone that grew up having a lot of people I called friends. So yes, African parents, they come through with the stories. You have to be careful. The person you call your best friend is the same person that is going to do this to you. You have to be careful. A lot of powerful people that have been murdered. If you do research or look into exactly how it happened, you're going to find out it was only possible because of someone they called their best friend. So you really have to be very careful. And really, it is true, because a lot of that exists. People are betrayed there's a story of a leader that was, and when they told him this particular person is planning a coup against you, he was like, ooh, yeah, it's going to work. It's definitely going to work because this person knows my every move. Okay. Like, this is my closest friend. It's definitely going to work. Like, how do I even, where do I start from? We've been friends for so many years since, I think they've been friends. They met, I don't really remember the full story, but they met when they were really young. I don't know if it was school or military. I don't remember, but yes, he was like, well, where do I start from? This person knows, he has access to every part of my life. He knows how I think. Okay. So he was like, yep, he's definitely going to succeed. He's definitely going to succeed. And he succeeded. He was murdered by his closest friend in a coup. Okay. And his friend took over. So yes, it's really very, it's that serious. Okay. And these are stories that you hear and you're just wondering, wait, how can your friend do that to you? So when that's, like I said, the basis of the friendship is broken, you then start to question, so why is this person really my friend? Okay. You start to question the intentions and the integrity of the friendship. Meanwhile, for a romantic relationship, you can easily explain that by saying, well, then I think this person is only with me, maybe for sex or for the intimate benefits of the relationship. That can also be heartbreaking, but then you can also say, okay, is this what I want? Is this worth staying in the relationship for? Can I detach my personal feelings and emotions from this relationship? And then, you decide to continue with the relationship, which is what people then see. And they're like, oh, women tend to give men multiple chances compared to their female friends. I think they just end up falling into similar patterns. You're like, okay, well, this is that then. I guess this is what he wants from this relationship. Let me enjoy this benefit for the time being. And then you end up falling into, just familiar patterns and habits, and you're back to the top until it comes back down again, or until you walk down the aisle with it, right? Yeah, so, but for female friendships, you start to question, okay, and then you even start to relate. You're seeing all these posts about toxic friendships, and you start to relate to them, and you're like, I think this is why this person is trying to be friends with me. She's just jealous. She's just hateful. She's this. This is a very one-sided friendship. She was never really my friend. So yes, you start to question the entire friendship, and it's like, okay, so if this mutualness between us doesn't exist, why are we even friends? So yes, and like I said, people choose friends sometimes based on different factors. It could be, oh, this is my everything friend, or this is my work friend, this is my gym friend, this is my party friend, okay, depending on your situation. But just make sure that that friendship is mutual. The other party feels the same way, and you understand that this is the basis of the friendship as well, right? And I know sometimes friendships change. Like, you can have someone that is a study buddy in uni, and then the friendship evolves, and maybe you guys decide to communicate your feelings, and you get to realize, oh, we're more alike than we think. Like, it's more than just study, okay? we've gone through similar relationships. Okay, our heartbreak stories are the same, or maybe our childhood story, it's quite similar, right? We experience the same childhood trauma and then you bond based on that, or you just realize you're similar in terms of how you respond to situations, how you act on things. And then friendship sometimes tends to grow from there because then you feel, oh, this is someone I can easily trust. This is someone I can easily rely on. This is someone that understands me. And I think that's another thing with female friendships. We don't really communicate the extent to which you need a person. It's kind of expected. I don't know if that makes sense. And when a person falls short, it's like, I guess we're not on the same wavelength. I don't know if that makes sense. So yes, there's less communication about the extent to which. I remember watching a video about a girl that was complaining about the quality of gifts that she gives her friends and the quality of gifts that they usually give her. And she was like, am I being petty? Is this unreasonable? Like, I know it's something that is unspoken, but, I spend this amount, so pounds on gifts for my friends, and they are only spending this amount of money on the gifts that they get for me. And somebody's like, well, do you like the presents? Are they things you would actually like? If not, maybe you're just being petty, or maybe you actually need to communicate with your friend that, oh, but then how would you even communicate something like that with your friend? Like, oh, you need to spend more on my gifts. It might come off a little wrong because then, it might just come off a little wrong because it's like, okay, is this what matters to you in the friendship? I mean, yes, if your answer is yes, if it's something that is bothering you like this, then yes, it's something that also matters to you. There needs to be that mutualness in terms of even lifestyle. I don't know if that makes sense. There has to be that mutualness in terms of lifestyle as well, which is why when I wouldn't say choosing a friend, because this is something that personally for me, I stopped really, like, you have to be intentional about making friends. But for me, when it comes to being intentional about making friends, is that I'm not actively trying to make this person my friend, right? I'm just being myself. And if I find out, oh, this person is a good person, or I notice, there's some signs you see, like I said, you guys share similar, you can relate to one another, okay? You start seeing the signs that, oh, you're able to relate with one another. You guys share similar values. Then you can be intentional about how you treat that person. And then a friendship can form from there, okay? So yes, so that's what I see about being intentional about friendships. But yes, when you're making a friend, you have to really be yourself so that someone really, the expectations are not ridiculous. Because let's say you make a friend today, maybe a work friend, and tomorrow she's inviting you for something you can't afford, or something that would break your bank, and you're like, whoa, I don't know who this girl thinks I am, but I can't follow you to that. I'm not planning a trip out of the country right now. I can't just wake up and be like, yes, let's plan a trip to Mexico. Let's plan a trip to Dubai. No, I don't know the kind of friend, or I don't think you know me that well, because yes, I'm not that person. Excuse me, I hate to break it to you. I'm not that person. So in that situation, you have to really come clean and be like, either you distance yourself, like be honest with yourself. When I say come clean, be honest with yourself and be like, okay, I need to set boundaries. Like, this is a work friend. I come to you for advice. I come to you for, when we're at work, we keep each other company. But outside that, I'm not the friend you call to travel. Okay, if I need travel advice, I'll call you because clearly you have, knowledge about that. I would call you for that, but I'm not the friend that you call. And if the person should ask, oh, it seems like you've distanced yourself, you can also be honest about that and be like, well, yes, I can't currently travel at will. I have to plan. Okay, I have to save before I can decide, okay. And even the planning and saving, you give, a reasonable time period that maybe for you, 2 months, 2 weeks. For me, it takes longer. Okay, I can't just wake up and if you want me to travel, we need to plan that 1 year prior based on, my current situation. And if that's something that your friend is okay with, and she's like, oh yeah, that's cool. No problem. I wish you told me, I would understand. Then you're like, oh, okay, that's cool. But you really need to be yourself. I think that's the key thing. You need to be yourself in friendships, okay? You need to be yourself in friendships. Don't try to go out of your way to please someone. Okay, there's a difference between sacrificing and going out of your way to please someone. Going out of your way to please someone, I see it as, oh, you just want to look a certain way in the eyes of that person. But we all know real friendship requires sacrifice. Okay, even if something is not convenient for you, you do it. And that other friend, knowing the kind of person you really are, would also understand, I know this was a sacrifice. Thank you for still being here, despite how hard I know it must have been for you. Okay, so yes, I think there's a difference between trying to please someone and just sacrificing in your friendship in general. So sacrifice is also key to a real friendship, I would say. If not, again, the friendship starts to feel one-sided, especially if the other person, I mean, you wouldn't know until they tell you, but yeah, you would know if you enjoy a lot of benefits from the other person. Well, the fact is, not all of it must have been convenient, to be very honest. You could be like, oh, well, I know my friend has a lot of money, so I'm sure it's not a big deal. But you don't know. The fact that they have a lot of money does not mean, they've made a deliberate choice to spend that money on you. They've made a deliberate choice. They could be spending that money on their own selves. They could be spending that money. They could be gifting those things to another person. And it doesn't even have to be monetary. It could be time. You could be like, oh, well, she's unemployed. That's why she has time to be here for me, to come here. She's always at my house. Well, she's unemployed, or she's not doing anything. She doesn't have anything serious that she's doing. No, it could be, she doesn't have to, give you her time, but she's choosing to do it. So there should be some form of reciprocality in friendship. Okay, so yeah. And while I was looking into that, I started just to think about signs of, a toxic or a one-sided friendship, just red flags that people, because I think a one-sided friendship is an example of a red flag or a toxic friendship, because some friendships are toxic. I'm not even going to go to the extreme. I'm just going to touch on the basis, okay? So, and the first thing that came to the top of my head when I was thinking, oh, toxic friendships, was because this is one that I've personally experienced, and it could be so, when you say microaggression, there's micro levels to these things where I catch it and I'm like, well, no, this is not something I'm going to take. That's bullshit, frankly. So yes, when someone, let's say everyone is like, oh, you're looking really pretty today, and they're like, but they just try to downplay little things that they should celebrate. So it could be your achievements, it could be basic compliments, or, just little things to like poke at your self-esteem. Yeah, that's not it. Or little insults disguised as jokes. Yeah, I take that very personally. Yes, I take that very personally. And then I know I've spoken about one-sided friendships, but it could come in a lot of ways, which is why that mutualness needs to exist in friendships, because a person that makes all the conversations, all the outings about themselves, that is a very one-sided friendship, and it's left to you to decide, well, maybe she thinks this is what I want. Maybe I need to communicate that, I'm not down for all this. I'm just sacrificing. This is a sacrifice just to make her happy. And then you communicate that and things don't change. Well, that is a very one-sided friendship. And it's not left for you to sit and think, oh, I can change this person or I can manage. Well, that's your choice. So it's left for you to set boundaries and know that I'm not going to be available for all of this. Okay. So you balance out the friendship by making yourself less available, or the other person balances out the friendship by making herself more available. Right? I'm not even talking about how to fix all these things, because yeah. So yes, and another one is they don't respect your opinions or boundaries. It's one thing to state your opinion, but if someone constantly doesn't respect your opinion, why again you start to question, why are we friends? Why are we friends? Our values are different. Our values are different. You don't respect my opinion. Everything is like, okay, yeah, well, but it's always like almost an argument. You almost start walking on eggshells around this person because this is how they feel about this certain thing. This is how they feel about. So no, you shouldn't be in a friendship where they don't respect your opinions, your values, you as a person, because that's what it means. Your opinions, your values, they make up who you are as a person. If someone doesn't respect this, they don't respect you. Why are you friends with somebody that doesn't respect you? They don't respect your boundaries. Okay, they keep breaking them. You say, oh, I don't want you to read this. I don't want you to touch that for certain reasons. I'm not ready to talk about this yet. And they keep, disregarding that. Yeah, I take that. That is a big no when it comes to friendship. Okay. And friends that emotionally blackmail you. I was having this conversation with someone recently. This again, like I said, personally, I've been able to experience, I've had some bad friendships, but I think it was when I was younger. I wouldn't even say bad friendships. I would just say, I wouldn't call them bad friendships, but the value, right, or the quality of friendships I have now, it really means a lot to me. So yes, and I think a lot of people that are my friends now, we became really close in uni. So from uni till now, I've had these friendships and they really do mean a lot to me. So yes, when I say okay, I'm just going to move on from that. But yes, I was talking to someone recently about emotionally blackmailing your friend. Let's say, for example, you're in an argument and somebody uses something, because the only way for them to emotionally blackmail you is if they know certain facts about you. So why are you using something I told you about me for your own benefit? That is a no. Like, to me, that just tells the kind of person you are. It really just tells the kind of person you are. And then, like I said, I'm someone that my parents used to tell me growing up, oh, you have to be careful when somebody does this, when somebody does that. It means they can do this to you. It means they can do that to you. You have to be very careful. So you just start to realize, okay, to what extent can this person go to get what they want from you? Okay, to what extent can they go to get what they want for themselves? Okay, using you. Yes, it tells a lot, and you just kind of really have to be careful. Again, you ask yourself, why am I friends with this person? Why am I friends with this person? And if that no longer exists, it's okay for you to outgrow friendships. It's okay for friendships to run to its own. Me personally, I like to say it's okay to talk things out. Again, I'm not perfect, but I've had situations where my friend come to me and be like, well, I noticed this distance. Is everything okay? And you say how you're feeling, or you say, well, I didn't notice I put a distance. You just explain how you're feeling and what might have caused that distance. And if, despite communication, despite the efforts put by both of you to repair, the gap, it seems forced. It seems like you start walking on eggshells around that. So that mutualness doesn't exist anymore. You're no longer the same people you were. It's okay to let it rest. And one thing I like to say is I always believe that at certain points, especially when things end not on a bad note, there's no beef, there's no malicious intent. I feel like at some point in life, you can always see each other, give each other a warm hug, or you just give the person a look and they know, just know deep down in your heart that, you're always going to have, you always have space in your heart for this person. So yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. So yes, and also you shouldn't be friends with someone that feels like they're in a competition with you. Like what are we? So yeah, those kind of people, it just gets exhausting. And there's some kind of people you're friends with, it just feels exhausting. You're trying to prove to the person that, I'm also good at, I can be better, or I'm better than you actually. The fact that I let it slide. So why are you in that kind of friendship, really? And I know sometimes it can be really hard because despite the fact that this person always seems to be always in constant competition with you, the person might also really be a good advisor. The person might be a good listener. Okay, so I know it's sometimes hard, but you really have to be honest with yourself, especially when you don't have other friends that you rely on for advice or to listen to you. I know it can be really hard sometimes, but you need to set boundaries. like emotional and sometimes physical boundaries, or you call it out. You really do just call it out. Yeah, I've experienced a situation where, like, the first point I gave, like I said, it was personal to me because something that happened recently, and I'm like, in my adult life, what? Like, how do you think I'm not going to notice that? So I called it out immediately, and I was like, you do not. Like, when it comes to me, and I was very, I tried not to make it look like a joke because I know you say some things and they just laugh it off. Ha ha ha. Like I said, sometimes people insult you and disguise it as a joke. So yes, that kind of situation, you have to call it out as clearly as possible and let them know, well, this is what I've noticed and I don't like it, really. You need to really stop. I don't know what else to say, but you need to really stop. Don't do that with me, please. Thank you. And let them understand, give them instances if you remember any, because my memory sucks, guys. So give them instances if you remember any, and just let them know this is something you've noticed and you do not find it funny for obvious reasons. And if they continue, well, clearly they don't respect you as a person. But if they're able to amend, then cool. Well, cool. Glad to be back on track, friend. Okay, so yes, I know there's some friends that only tend to come to you when they need something. Like, this friend is nowhere to be found. Again, this sounds like I'm talking about one-sided friendship, because deep down in your heart, you're like, I really value this friendship. I really respect this person. But it seems like this person doesn't respect me. It seems like this person doesn't value my friendship. If not, why is she insulting me? Okay, she does not respect me as a person. Why is she acting like she's in competition with me? Does she not think I'm worth anything? Okay, why is she only available when she needs something from me? Why is she unavailable when I need her? Again, everything looks one-sided. So that really is it. Like, if you're noticing all the signs, is the person really your friend? It makes you question, is this person really my friend? So yes, and sometimes it's not, when it comes to taking decisions like this or setting boundaries, sometimes it's not something that happened one time. It's a repeated pattern. You notice that this person is always acting like this, or you've noticed this particular habit more than one time. Then it's like, okay, I think we need to talk about this. Okay, I've noticed that you constantly blah blah blah. If the person then tries to gaslight you, or try to downplay your observation, yeah, that is another red flag. That's another red flag. You're friends with somebody you really don't know. So yes, you need to notice the pattern and communicate it so that okay, let me know if she even knows, because it could sometimes it's an unchecked bad habit. Maybe they're just maybe they've been friends with people like that in the past, and maybe friends with the wrong person that always are in competition with them or always do these things, and they've picked it up and now they're repeating those patterns, those bad habits with you. So you need to really tell them, well, no. And their reaction, sometimes the first reaction can be to be defensive. I'm not saying that's how it should be, but you really need to also calm down and listen. Even I'm saying this to myself as well, because I think in general, I can be a defensive person. But when it comes to someone taking out time to tell me something, I always tend to be very like, oh my God, wow, this person must really value my friendship. That is why this person wants to fix things with me. So me, when I'm also telling somebody, oh, this is what I've noticed, how the person reacts also tells me a lot, because I know how I react, and why I react like that is because I value the friendship and I'm happy to see that, well, she values the friendship as well. So if I'm telling someone, oh, this is what I've noticed, this is how I feel, and the person downplays that or tries to gaslight me, I take it very personal, because I'm like, okay, so you don't even value me enough to listen to what I'm saying or to, acknowledge my feelings about this situation. Yeah, it's gonna take a lot to recover from that, but it's always possible. And most of the time it happens within, like I said, I've been blessed with great friends. But I know sometimes it takes a minute. You have to really sit down and think and be like, wait, I see the patterns too. This person is absolutely right. And then you stand up, you apologize to your friend, you make it up to her, and give her grace to also process what you've done to her. And hopefully your friendship will recover and you can move on from all of that. Okay, so yes, I know friendships are really important to a lot of people. Like I said, friendships also make people have this sense of belonging, like, oh, this is my person, this is my go-to person. Okay. And friendships do make people happy, to be honest. You spend a day with your friend and that is therapy, to be honest. One day with your friend is like 1 month of therapy, especially when you're able to really discuss issues that are affecting you and when you can really be yourself and really be honest about things you're experiencing. Yes, that is worth $1 million and more. So yes, I hope as we grow, as we step into new purpose, I hope that we really were able to build genuine friendships with amazing people. And there's one thing I learned is that you never know tomorrow. You might think, oh, well, I'm too old to make a new friend, or I'm past the stage where I can easily make friends. I'm settled in at work. I'm done with uni. For whatever reason, you might just feel like, yeah, it's really not been easy for me to make friends. And then you meet the most amazing person who would love you in the most amazing way. A friend that would love you, cherish you, and let you know what real friendship means. Yes, you're going to meet that person. If you don't yet have that person in your life, and you might think, oh, I have that person. And then you meet another amazing person. Yeah. I wish that for all of us. I truly wish that for all of us. I hope we're able to have lasting connections with these people, that make us value life. Because real friendships also make you value life. Because you just, life is worth living. Life really be worth living when you have a good friend. So yes, I wish good friendships on everyone. I wish good friendships on you, good friendships on you, and good friendships on you. And until next time, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to like, to share, to subscribe, to follow, depending on the platform you're listening to this on. And see you again next week. Bye.